Thank you, Richard. There's a lot of focus right now, certainly on the holiday season, but for many people, their priority is finding a job. The job picture is encouraging right now in the Jacksonville area with just about 6% unemployment, which is very low compared to the rest of the country. Candace Moody from CareerSource of Northeast Florida is here now with some do's as well as some don'ts. Good morning to you. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate it.
My pleasure.
This is probably the worst time to be out of a job because you're trying to maybe buy holiday gifts and pay bills and everything at the end of the year, and it is so frustrating. But there's some encouraging news. I mean, what would you say to people who are looking, who might say, you know what, I'm just going to put it off till the beginning of the year? Is that a good idea or a bad one?
Well, we hear that a lot, and because we hear it a lot, it's a great idea to do the opposite. This is the time of year when, for most industries, not all of course, when business really slows down. Fewer customers, less hustle, and so people are actually more available for networking and informational interviews and laying the groundwork for finding a job. Not very many people are making offers right now. But one of the things to consider is that a lot of people are going to make a move in January. They stay for that end of the year bonus. They make a New Year's resolution that they're going to get a new job. January is a time when a lot of things will open up. If you're laying the groundwork now, you're in great shape for January.
So this is such a tech world these days with emails and Facebook and all sorts of different ways of being able to find a job or find openings, people who are hiring. Do you suggest that somebody take the resume to that business and face-to-face, or is it better just to email with point of contact?
I think probably a phone call is the best thing you can do. In email will never show the warmth and motivation that you have, and so a personal reach out through your voice to someone else is probably the best thing to do. And since so many people are relying on technology, again, you'll stand out in the crowd.
Is there something that you think maybe the top two mistakes that people who are looking for a job make when it comes to just finding the job? And then, of course, let's talk about the interview itself in a minute.
Well, they make the mistake of mistaking activity for productivity. So a lot of people sit in the dark and apply online and apply online. Unless you're the perfect match for that online posting, you're not even going to get a look. Most applications are not even seen by humans right now. They're screened by algorithms. And so if you don't have exactly the right qualifications, you're not even making the cut. Personal networking is still the most important thing you can do.
And even if a business isn't hiring right now, the fact that you've kind of pressed the flesh, so to speak, so that they remember maybe later in a month or two when they are hiring.
Absolutely. I think establishing a contact and being gracious about it, sort of staying in touch, making sure you're on LinkedIn. That's the one piece of technology I do recommend. Recruiters are spending about 80% of their time on LinkedIn. So if you don't have a really robust profile and aren't checking in regularly in groups and starting discussions, you're probably not serious about your search.
We talked a little bit about follow through, for example. So let's say you've called, you've then sent a resume. When do you follow up and how do you do it? Is it ever going to the business, or is it just making a call to the same person with whom you spoke earlier?
Well, the other mistake that people make a lot is having their resume do what their network should be doing. So LinkedIn provides an electronic, a digital way to make contacts, but again, those personal contacts should create champions within the organization that actually say, here's a resume you should put at the top of the pile, here's somebody you should be thinking about. So a call after a week or so, a lot of times that'll just put you at the top of the list again. They'll be picking up your resume just to see who you are, and it can be a great way to get another look. But I think after a couple of calls and a couple of emails, pretty much the answer is we're not interested, and you can move on to other opportunities.
So sitting down the interview, the two things you don't ever want to do.
One is to think that the other person has all the power. We tend to think that the hiring authority has all the power in the interview. This is about you finding out if it's a good match for you as well. So being intellectually curious and actually asking questions and being engaging, and don't be afraid to be yourself. People think, especially after a long, frustrating search, that they have to twist themselves into a pretzel and try to be somebody they're not to get that job. Sure recipe for distress, because eventually you're going to find out, I've got to be me, and it's not a great fit, and I'm so sorry. Better to turn down an opportunity than to talk yourself into a job you're going to hate.
Ms. Moody, thank you very much for your insight. Do appreciate it.
My pleasure.